Hello, and thank you for watching The Righteous Kitchen, a cooking and baking blog found at www.therighteouskitchen.blogspot.com. In an earlier video, I showed you how to put together the Chile Verde base. So what I did in that video is I roasted peppers, onions, bell peppers, and tomatillos, and I've strained it very well, removed all the seeds and stems and skins, and what I did after that was portion it into 1 cup serving sizes. So what I'm going to do now is put together the Chile Verde, the pork Chile Verde. So we're going to start here and use 2, so we're going to start with 2 cups of the base. So we'll kind of let this get softened a little bit while I prepare the pork. We're using pork tri-tip, and it came in a package of 2, and I've already got 1 broken down, and I want to show you how to go about doing that. I know it's a little bit intimidating when you're breaking down a huge awkward shape of meat and getting it into cubes. But if you just take your time and just get in here and follow the guides of the fat or any marbling lines, that's going to help you to know where to cut and to break it down. So here we go. There's a line right in here where there's silver skin. And see how I'm cutting it? I'm breaking it down. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish cutting that. Now I've got a smaller piece here. I could lay it flat, and then there's another, see this? Sometimes you can even just poke it with your fingers. I'm going to go along right there. Kind of see where this piece takes me. The silver skin is really tough, and I always try to get that out of there. So I'm just, look at how much more is being revealed. So here's a piece, we'll just set it to the side. Now we've got this silver skin here, and right here we can make some cuts. Just take your time with this. It's very relaxing. I think a lot of times we just get in too much of a hurry when we're starting to cook, and that's why we might not always get good results. Alright, so there we go. This is just silver skin. This piece here doesn't look too bad, but here we go. We've got right here. We could cut that. Here's another piece of silver skin. Right in here. There we go, more silver skin. It's a really tough membrane. Now I'm going to braise this in the crock pot so it'll break everything down, but still I don't want a lot of gristle and stuff when you're trying to enjoy your stew. So we'll get in here, see how this wants to, see that line right there? Just get in there and then kind of see where it takes you. Just pull this off. This is really tender pieces of meat. It just has to break through from the silver skin. So you could even just pull it off. Okay, so we've got this right here. See if we could get that out. Yeah. So just work your knife on the edge of it. There we go. And just keep following where it is. See? See how it opens up? It's right there. And I'm going to cut through to that. I'll come back over here. I could probably just pull this off from this point. Poke your finger under it and get that out. So now you can see it and cut it away. You're not going to want to eat this, believe me. It's tough. You just want to get it out now. Just take your time and get it out now, and you won't have to worry about, oh, what's that chewy stuff I'm eating? I take it out of this, and I also take it out of my pork ribs when I'm barbecuing. So now I'm just going to take my knife and glide it under there. There we go. So here it separates again. Look at that, more. Now I have two roast. I have 5 pounds of this tri-tip roast. I'm going to fry it all up, and then I'm going to divide it into 2 and freeze it. So later on my second batch of pork chili verde, it's just going to be dumping it all into the crock pot. Because you can see this is a little time consuming. We're breaking down this pork, navigating our way through all this silver skin, fat, and gristle. And then we've taken the time to make the chili verde base. So it's a little time consuming. You know, we're not just roasting vegetables and throwing them in a blender. We've made a really fabulous, refined chili verde base, and we're coming through here and making sure that our meat is really refined also. It's not going to have fat and gristle. Not going to have to be chewing on it and spitting it out. So our second batch is where we're going to really reap the rewards of all this. That's why I at least make a double batch, or if I have a lot of time and freezer space, I would make maybe a triple or quadruple. I've made a quadruple batch of that chili verde base before and had about 20 cups. Okay, so we're on our last section here. There's that. I'm gonna get this piece right here too. There we go. That is a really tough piece. Okay. Hold on. There we go. Just get it a little bit to grab. All right, let the knife slide under it. Okay, so I think, well, we've got one more piece that's going to be a little difficult. There we go. Hopefully you're learning a lot. So you got a butchering demonstration from this recipe as well. see if we could, maybe we'd just be lucky and pull this one. There we go. All right. So we've got this all broken down, and it did take a minute, but we've got everything out of there. So then we could just start our strips and start cubing. A little bit of time to start, and then you'll make up for it not having to fight your way through that. And we want 1/2 inch cubes, so we'll get them in our strips, cut them, and line them up, and here we go. So there's so much easier to cube your way through that once you've removed the obstacle. Look at there. Very nice. So that's how you break down a tri-tip, a pork tri-tip, into cubes. So I will finish this up, then we'll come back and get these fried up. A nice hot grill here, and we're gonna work in batches to fry up this meat. Now we don't want to overcrowd the grill because that would result in steaming. We just want to give this a quick fry. We want the meat to brown a little bit. So now's a good time to sprinkle it with some righteous seasoning. Maybe a little bit more oil. Just toss it around like you're stir frying. We're just wanting to brown it and get a little bit of flavor on it. That's what you're looking for. Just done. You don't want it to cook all the way through. Just a little bit of brown on the meat. So I'm putting it in a bowl, and then I'll portion out what I need for the amount I'm making in the crock pot. I have finished frying up the chunks of pork roast, and I portioned them out. I had a little over 5 pounds of pork, and I portioned it out. I have 5 cups of salsa. So I'm using roughly pre-cooked 1 pound of pork per 1 cup of the Chile Verde base. So 5 pounds after it's cooked, defatted, the silver skin discarded and everything, your net weight cooked is going to be about 3/4 of a pound. So I'm making 2 cups of the verde sauce with 1.5 cups of pre-cooked pork. All right. The rest of it I have in 3/4 portion bags, and I also captured the pan drippings and distributed that. So what I'm going to do is freeze these on a baking tray. When they get solid frozen, I'll put them in the shrink wrap bag with my sauces, and then I'll have another batch of pork chili verde to use. It's all going to just be dump it in the crock pot at that point. So that's going to be a really nice time saver on my next batch. So let's continue on with this one. All right, we have our 3/4 or 1.5. I'm sorry. We have our 1.5 pounds of fried cubed pork roast. So that's going to go right into the crock pot. And we have 2 cups of our Chile Verde base. And what I do with this is just snip off a corner of the bag. And then just squeeze it. Try to get all of it. This is all your flavor right here. So there's one. And again, just snip off the corner of the bag. Just squeeze that right into your crock pot. All right. So to that, we're going to add 3 chicken bouillon cubes. And I like the Tones brand. I think it's more flavorable than a lot of other brands out there. And we have 2 cups of water. That's going in, and then we're gonna, excuse me. And then we're gonna have 1 teaspoon of righteous seasoning. Don't put any more than that. When this is done, we'll adjust our flavorings. And then we're gonna have 1 teaspoon of cumin. Now cumin could be a little bit pricey. I always buy my cumin in the Mexican spice aisle. So they have that separated. It's a little bit cheaper than say McCormick's. So give this a little stir. And this is going to cook in your crock pot on high till these pork pieces are fork tender. And in this crock pot, it heats up pretty fast. So I'm going to say about 2 to 3 hours. Just let it cook on high, covered. So that's it. We're going to check back in a few hours and serve it up. Thank you. Okay, the Chile Verde cooked in the crock pot for about 2.5 hours. And it's done, and the meat is fork tender. So what I'm going to do right now is make a Chile Verde burrito. Now, if I had homemade refried beans on hand, I would certainly use them. But the next best thing is canned refried beans. And I'm just gonna smash them on my grill and get them softened and mashed up. And while those are going, I'm gonna do a quick guacamole. It's not even really gonna be a guacamole. It's gonna be avocado with a little bit of righteous seasoning and a squirt of lime juice. And we'll just mash this up real quick. And I'm going to squirt these beans with a little bit of cooking oil. Give them another mash. That's looking pretty good. Canned beans are something you're always going to want to have as a pantry staple. Okay, so here's my avocado. So these beans look good. All right, and I'm going to warm up a tortilla with just a little bit of butter. I'm going to heat it on both sides, and then I'll put butter on the inside. Let me go ahead and get these beans off of here before they get too crispy. There we go. All right, that tortilla is nice and soft. So I'm going to just hit it lightly with some butter. Butter makes everything better. And I'll go ahead and get that griddle out of the way and bring over the cutting board. Let me just see if you have a good view of that. A little bit more. Okay, so we have our Chile Verde and everything that we need here. Our Chile Verde, we didn't end up needing any seasonings. It came out just perfect. So what we're gonna do is start with our burrito. And then we are going to put down the refried beans. Now this is a small tortilla. Normally I would make these with the burrito sized. So this will be a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to come in with some Chile Verde. So I want to roll it like a burrito. And it's going to go in the center of the plate. I'm going to put some Monterey Jack cheese over it. Like so. Now, sometimes these are called a wet burrito, a green chili wet burrito, a Chile Verde wet burrito, whatever you want to call it. But it is a Chile Verde burrito. So now I'm going to take this and put it under the broiler for all that cheese to melt. And make sure you have an oven-proof plate before you put it in there. All right. So that'll just take a couple of minutes. Almost done. I have to be careful when I air this video because everybody will know that I have Chile Verde and they're going to come over here and swarm the place, eating all my stuff. So, not today. Okay, this is done. So I like to top that with guacamole. I just went for just a simple mashed version today. So we put that on there. And then sour cream. And I use a good sour cream, a full fat sour cream. There you have that. And top it with some fresh cilantro. There it is, Chile Verde burrito. Thank you for watching, and I do hope you make this recipe.